The neural translator sparked and died with a sharp crack that echoed through the diplomatic chamber of the Galactic Council station. Ambassador Lyra Chen felt the familiar weight of silence settle over her shoulders like a shroud, not the comfortable, quiet of concentration, but the heavy, expectant hush of 36 alien species waiting for words that would no longer come. "Technical difficulties," announced Zeftar, the insectoid moderator, his mandibles clicking in what passed for diplomatic patience among the Vexhi. "We shall reconvene when the human representative's communication device is functional." Lyra's fingers traced the dead circuitry at her temple. The translator had been failing for weeks, requiring increasingly frequent manual overrides and producing translations that made her sound like a diplomatic amateur. She had requested a replacement from Earth Command twice, only to be told that budget constraints and shipping delays meant she would have to wait another 6 months. 6 months. In that time, the proposed human integration accord would either pass or fail. If it failed, humanity would remain confined to their small corner of the galaxy, viewed as the violent primitives that most species believed them to be. The vote was scheduled for tomorrow. As the various delegations filed out in a symphony of clicks, hisses, and harmonious tones, Lyra remained seated. The weight of her species' future pressed down on her like the gravity of a dying star. She had spent 3 years on this station, carefully building relationships, proving that humans were more than the warlike savages their history suggested. All of it would crumble without her ability to communicate. Ambassador Chen, the melodic voice, belonged to Talara, the crystalline representative of the Shard Collective. Her faceted form caught the station's artificial light, casting rainbow patterns across the chamber walls. "Perhaps you require assistance?" Lyra looked up, managing a weak smile. "Unless you happen to have a human neural translator in your mineral matrix, I'm afraid I'm beyond help." Talara's form shimmered, the shard equivalent of a thoughtful pause. "I have observed your dedication to the integration accord. Your species' admission to the Council would benefit us all. The mining rights alone. The mining rights are exactly why half the Council wants to keep us out," Lyra interrupted, then caught herself. Even without a translator, she was still a diplomat. "Forgive me. The malfunction has left me frustrated." "Perhaps," Talara said carefully, "there is another way." That evening, in the privacy of her quarters, Lyra stared at her reflection in the mirror. The dead translator clung to her temple like a technological parasite. She had built her entire career on humanity's supposed need for such devices. Every human in space wore one. It was, according to Earth Command, what separated civilized humans from their barbaric ancestors. But Talara's words echoed in her mind. "I have often wondered why humans alone require artificial assistance with galactic languages when your brains show such remarkable adaptability." The truth was a secret Lyra had carried for 3 years, a secret that could destroy everything she had worked for, everything humanity hoped to achieve. But tomorrow, without a functioning translator, she would fail anyway. She reached up and carefully removed the dead device. The next morning, Lyra entered the council chamber to find it buzzing with activity. Word of the translator failure had spread, and many delegates had already begun positioning themselves for the integration accord's inevitable failure. She could feel their mixture of pity and satisfaction as she took her place at the human podium. Zeftar called the session to order. "Ambassador Chen, have you resolved your technical difficulties?" Lyra took a deep breath. the weight of humanity's future balanced on the words she was about to speak. No, Moderator Zeftar, my translator remains non-functional. A wave of clicks, hisses, and harmonic discord swept through the chamber. This was it. The moment humanity's dreams of galactic citizenship died. However, Lyra continued, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber, I do not require it. The silence that followed was absolute. She turned to address the Vex High delegation. Directly, switching effortlessly to their complex, clicking language. Honored Zeftar, I speak to you in the tongue of your ancestors, learned not through machines, but through years of patient study. Zeftar's compound eyes widened, his mandibles frozen mid-click. Lyra pivoted to the gaseous nebula consortium, her voice modulating to match their harmonic frequencies. To the wise sages of the nebula, I offer greetings in the songs of your stellar winds. One by one, she addressed each delegation in their native tongue, languages that supposedly required complex neural interfaces to produce, languages that humans weren't supposed to be capable of learning naturally. The chamber erupted in chaos. Impossible, screeched the Avian Talon Empire representative. Humans lack the cognitive flexibility for natural language acquisition beyond their primitive level. The neural pathways required don't exist in mammalian brains, added the aquatic depth-dweller ambassador. But Talara's crystalline form pulsed with satisfied light. Unless, she said, her melodic voice cutting through the chaos, everything we believed about human limitations was wrong. Lyra felt the moment crystallize around her. This was the choice. Reveal humanity's greatest secret or watch their dreams of galactic citizenship crumble. She had already made her decision the moment she removed the translator. Fellow beings of the galaxy, she said, switching back to Galactic Standard. I stand before you having committed the greatest deception in diplomatic history. For 3 years, I have worn a broken translator. The chamber exploded. Accusations of fraud, demands for expulsion, threats of sanctions, all the chaos she had feared. But Lyra pressed on. I wore it because my government believed you would never accept us if you knew the truth. Humans don't need neural translators. We never did. Our brains are capable of learning and speaking any language naturally. We pretended to need them because we thought it would make us seem less threatening, more civilized. She gestured to encompass the chamber. But the real question is this. What kind of species pretends to be limited to make others comfortable? What kind of species restrains their greatest gift out of fear? The chaos slowly died as her words sank in. We are a species that adapts, that learns, that becomes more than what we were. And yes, that once fought terrible wars. But look around. This chamber. We have learned to speak your languages, understand your cultures, respect your ways. Is that not the very essence of civilization? Zeftar's mandibles clicked slowly. You learned our language naturally? All of them, Lyra confirmed. 43 languages from 37 species. And I am not unique among my people. We are linguistic mimics, cultural adapters. We don't just translate your words, we understand your thoughts. The vote, when it came, was closer than anyone expected. But humanity's admission to the Galactic Council passed by exactly 1 vote, cast by Talara of the Shard Collective. Later, as Lyra packed her belongings for the journey back to Earth, she knew her diplomatic career was over. Earth Command would never forgive her for revealing humanity's linguistic capabilities. But as she looked out at the stars that now beckoned, To her species with open arms, she realized she had traded her everything for humanity's future, and it had been worth it.